Must we speak with the same tongue? Oh, bless our planet under one sky, and all the people on it. We all laugh and we all cry. Oh, bless our planet, place of above. We are all one family, we're children of the earth. Oh, bless our planet under one sky, and all the people on it. We all laugh and we all cry. Oh, bless our planet, place of above. We are all one family, we're children of the earth. We are all one family, we're children of the earth.
Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Gosh, what a beautiful song. I never get tired of listening to that song. Thank you, Shauna Carroll, for writing that song, and for Pam Gerke and the Sacred Fire Choir for that beautiful arrangement. It just makes me feel so good every time I hear it. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here with me on Valentine's Day. If you're anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, we're having snow apocalypse, or whatever they call that. Lots of snow today. It's so beautiful out there. If you think that it is a good idea to examine the value of love, then you are in the right place. So welcome. I'm Reverend Judith Laxer, and I'm so honored that you have chosen to spend an hour or so of your time here with me and this community in Gaia's temple. So I have a few announcements that I want to make before we jump into the surface of the service. And I want to begin by thanking everyone who came to our Imbolc Sabbath celebration. It was such a beautiful ritual of really necessary healing. And so thank you to everybody who attended. And if you've never attended one of these Sabbats, jump on in, especially now because they're virtual and all you got to do is click and you're in to experience a little bit of what this magic is that we're always talking about. It's such a beautiful way to be connected in community. And in this time of social distancing, it is can be a real lifeline for you. So it's available to you, and I hope you'll join us. The next one is going to be for the spring equinox, which is kind of hard to even think about now under a foot of snow. But sure enough, it's going to be here in less than 6 weeks. We're celebrating it on Saturday night, March 10th at 7 p.m. All the information is on the website, gaiastemple.org. On March 20th. On March 10th is when we're having the planning meeting. So if there's ever been a part of you who thinks, what might being ritualist feel like? Jump in. Let me know, or let Reverend Karina Frenzel know, and we will make sure that you're in on that planning meeting. And it's a great way to be part of community service if you're interested. And even if you don't want an active role, you can still come and brainstorm with us and help us create that beautiful ceremony for our community. So please don't be shy. Jump on in. There's another workshop I want to tell you about that's being offered by Evergreen UU Church, which is where we found Maury Budlong, our tech host. And this one is called...
Judith, we need to pause on that one, but I'll get back to you. Okay.
Oh,
sorry.
That's not happening.
Nope.
We're skipping right over.
Okay.
All right. The next thing is in Gaia's Temple, we are hosting House of the Heart Intentional Creativity Workshop with Maggie Yowell Wilson. And this is a workshop, I'm just going to read what I wrote here, to bring you home to your heart, what Maggie wrote here, to bring you home to your heart and to give you a sense of belonging. So using materials that you already have and in sacred space in a sacred way, we will be creating art using the internal self messages that we carry inside, and then draw or paint or color a house that will bring you home to yourself. So no experience is necessary. You don't have to consider yourself an artist. It's intentional creativity, beautiful, beautiful process. That's going to be on Saturday, March 27th, I believe, from 2 to 4. And you can sign up on our website, gaiastemple.org. Don't miss it. I think it's going to be really beautiful. And then my personal mystery school, Moonwise Mystery School, has just launched online classes. So if you are interested in studying the art of magic with yours truly, you can go to my website, www.judithlaxer.com, click on the teaching tab, and that drop-down menu will bring you to Moonwise Mystery School, and you can click on there and find out all about it. Enrollment is now open. I have 3 classes to begin on the elemental journey and creating sacred space and moon magic. So hopefully you'll join me for that. I want to introduce our singer, our songstress extraordinaire today beforehand, so that you know who she is. If you don't already know who she is, Celia Farron is joining us today. And she has been described as a badass bardess, everyday goddess, high priestess of herself, singer, songwriter, producer, comedian, redheaded Capricorn, force of nature. And I can vouch to every single one of those beautiful adjectives. She is amazing. Marianne Williamson, author of A Return to Love and recent presidential candidate, said Celia's music calls women to their glory and men to their hearts. And that is absolutely true. She's offering also, so she's going to be singing for us today, and she's offering a special donation-based online Come Home to Your Heart Healing concert tonight for Valentine's Day at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So this service will end, you'll have a little time off, and then you can log on and have this beautiful concert that she's offering. It can be viewed on Facebook, on the Celia Farron Music and Comedy page, or on YouTube. You can search celiaonline.com to get all the information. And this event is going to be much more than just a concert. I think it's going to be more like ritual theater. Their plan is to call in powerful healing energy of the goddess Aphrodite, who I will speaking of today, share in a guided heart meditation, offer healing blessings, and of course, lots and lots of love-centered music. So be sure to tune in for that concert to continue celebrating Valentine's Day. All right, so that's all the blah, blah, blah announcements about what's going on. And now we'll jump into our service, and we're going to begin, as we always do, by singing together to get the energy moving. So if you haven't, or for some reason you've unmuted yourself, please mute yourself again, because you know that crazy lag that goes on at Zoom. I'll sing, you sing along with me. We're going to be singing the song that many of you know by now, Shauna Carroll's Carried by the Love of My Sisters, Carried by the Love of My Brothers. That's the first part of it. You can just sing that over and over. I'll probably jump to the next part. The lyrics go, may we be a brotherhood and sisterhood in love. And we'll just sing those 2 parts. However, whichever one you want to sing, join me, and here we go. So the first part goes, carried by the love of my sisters, I'm carried by the love of my brothers. Carried by the love of my sisters, I'm carried by the love of my brothers. Carried by the love of my sisters, I'm carried by the love of my brothers. Carried by the love of my sisters, I'm carried by the love of my brothers. Keep that going. May we be a brotherhood and sisterhood in love. May we be a brotherhood and sisterhood in love. May we be a brotherhood and sisterhood in love. May we be a brotherhood and sisterhood in love. Carried by the love of my sisters, I'm carried by the love of my brothers. Carried by the love of my sisters, I'm carried by the love of my brothers. One more. Carried by the love of my sisters. I'm carried by the love of my brothers. Yes, indeed. We are carried by the love from one another. Beautiful. You sound awesome today. So we'll continue creating our sacred space. So if you would, wherever you are, take a nice deep breath, close your eyes, go within. Oh, just take a moment now and call yourself fully present to this moment. So any part of you that is projected into your future, stuck anywhere in your past, distracted by anything going on in this mad, 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 mad world, gently ask all the pieces and parts of you to come home so you can be here now. And breathe deeply into that presence. On the next exhale, begin to ground yourself to the earth by sending down a line of energy that extends from the base of your spine, or maybe even from the bottom of your feet, downward toward the earth, like gravity was pulling it down through the chair or the seat that you're seated in, down through the floor and the foundation of the building that you are in, deep into Mother Earth. Feel how she opens to receive your taproot, welcoming you back once again to this deep connection with her. And imagine that taproot going down deep, deep, and even more deeply into the earth. Let it drop all the way down until you feel really deeply connected to our Mother. Send out smaller little roots, reaching out, taking hold, and feel this beautiful connection. You are reaching out to her. She is holding you. Imagine now that those small little branches and your main taproot become porous and start to drink her energy up inside, knowing that what you're drawing in from the earth is her sustenance, her nurturance, her beauty, her diversity, and ultimately her unconditional love. Draw the unconditional love of the Mother up through your roots into you. Let it transfer over up into your spine and draw her all the way up to your heart. And when she arrives there, take another deep breath. Make more room and let her rest there in your heart. Now you hold the Mother in your heart. And leaving her resting there, look to the heavens and find the moon. And she is waxing, I believe, in Aries today. Yes. So draw down that fiery, forthright moon energy, growing, waxing, silvery and luminous. That mystical light. And imagine it pouring down through the heavens, entering in through your crown, making her way down into your heart. And when she arrives there, once more breathe deeply to make more room. So now the earth and the moon are residing there in your heart. Look to the heavens in your mind's eye once more. Find the sun now. He is glowing, radiant, and golden in Aquarius, humanitarian, the great friend to the world, and draw that beautiful energy down, that golden warming light of the sun down onto you, and draw him down into your heart as well. And when he arrives there once more, breathe deeply. Good. Now, in a moment, we're going to cast our circle, create our sacred space in full. And what I'll ask us to do is to take a deep collective breath together. And then when we exhale, imagine that you can use your exhalation to push these three cosmic energies, earth, moon, and sun, straight forward from your heart outside of your body. Imagine it first swirling all around you, and then imagine the energy rippling out to encompass everyone who is here today, now, over this Zoom meeting and on our YouTube channel, and even those in the future who will tune into it later, rippling out like the waters after we throw a stone into a still pond. That's how the energy is going to go out, encompassing us all. So let's do that now. Deep breath. And out it goes. In this way, we say we have stepped between the worlds. What is between the worlds is not affected by the worlds, but can heal and transform. And so we say, our circle is cast in perfect love and perfect trust. Blessed be. All right, our own Pamela Gerke is going to lead us in singing in the elements now.
To the spirits of the north, the element earth. Spirits of the earth, carry me. Spirits of the earth, carry me home. Spirits of the earth, carry me home to my heart. To the spirits of the east, element air. Spirits of the air, carry me. Spirits of the air, carry me home. Spirits of the air, carry me home to my heart. To the spirits of the south and the element fire. Spirits of the fire, carry me. Spirits of the fire, carry me home. Spirits of the fire, carry me home to my heart. To the spirits of the west, element water. Spirits of the water, carry me. Spirits of the water, carry me home. Spirits of the water, carry me home to my heart. And to the spirits of the center space. Spirits of the center, carry me. Spirits of the center, carry me home. Spirits of the center, carry me home to my heart. Blessed be.
Aphrodite, goddess of love, be with us. Open our hearts to love. Be with us. We welcome your arrival on the shores of our souls. Be with us. Today, we seek to embrace your gifts. Be with us. Your gifts of love and beauty. Be with us. To expand our understanding and use of these gifts. Be with us. To have desire motivate us to create a more just and beautiful world. Be with us. To use pleasure as the way and beauty as the reason. Be with us. Aphrodite, goddess of love, we gather on this fine day to be in your presence. Be with us and blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you both so much. Well, my friends, you know, the core values of Gaia's temple are peace, respect, integrity, and love. And so what better day than Valentine's Day? You know what? I just realized I didn't start the podcast, so I'm going to start all over again because we got to get the podcast going. Technology, you know? Okay, here we go. Well, my friends, the core values of Gaia's temple are peace, respect, integrity, and love. And what better day than Valentine's Day than to talk about love, talk about the value of love and how valuable it is. So here's an understatement. Holidays can be tough. And Valentine's Day is no exception, especially if you're single, because then you believe that Valentine's Day is for everybody else. Valentine's Day is more than just for romantic couples, because love is for everyone, including romantic love, even if you are single, because you can be in love. You can live in love. You can be in love with romance. You can create romance. Romance doesn't have to just be with another person. You can romance your entire life if you choose to. We have a very limited view of love, mostly, and all of its ramifications, which I'm going to talk more about, but including and especially the erotic. We have the erotic in a very small, tight little camp for one specific reason and purpose. And today I want to help us expand that understanding. So when the February service fell on, Valentine's Day, I thought, well, got to talk about the goddess of love. And who is that? Aphrodite, mighty Aphrodite. She was called Aphrodite to the Greeks. She's called Venus to the Romans. We know the planet Venus as the goddess of love. And so last February, I spoke about her also. But can we ever talk about love enough? Can we ever learn about love enough? Can we ever practice love enough? I think not. So first I want to talk a little bit about her origin story. It goes like this. So Gaia, the great mother, and Uranus, the great father, like according to the Greeks, the original mother and father, right? The primordial parents, earth and sky, gave birth to the Titans, which were the first echelon of gods. And however, as the Titans began to grow up, Uranus wanted to make sure that he would stay in power, because we know what happens, right? We get older, we start to lose our power, or the next generation coming up is going to come into their power. But Uranus did not want to lose his power. And so he either hid or tried to kill his children to avoid that fate. And of course, this did not make Gaia very happy at all. And so she incited her children to rise up and attack their father so that this wouldn't happen to them, right? Here we go. We're already at war. Even in the very early days, war seems to be the way we go about it. Anyway, she gave one of her sons named Cronus a sickle as a tool to fight this war against his father. And so what does he do? He goes and he uses the sickle and he severs his father's genitals with them and he throws them into the ocean. That's how we begin this story. So I just want to talk a little bit about Kronos here and this particular act, because you can't just say, oh, he severed his father's genitals, throw them in the ocean, and skip over it like nothing just happened. That's a very big deal. So the first thing is that Kronos, as we know, the word Kronos speaks to time. It's the root of the word chronology, chronological, the chron in synchronicity. It's referring to a particular period of time or the passing of time, or that time does pass. So we can look at this kind of symbolically, and we can say that time is going to steal our life force. It's going to steal our power, and ultimately it's going to steal our life. So we can look at that act very symbolically that way. But another way that I want to point out to look at this in this myth is that Kronos is a child. And so he's coming from a child's viewpoint, which is not yet mature, or we can say is rather immature. And so he thinks that the only way that he can wrest power from his father is to sever his genitals, right? To take away his prowess. And then that means that he will be able to have power. So right away, I just want to say, acts of violence and trying to steal power from others is not necessary for us to become empowered. We can become empowered of our own auspices without feeling we need to wrest it away from anyone else, particularly violently. So that's just the first little point I want to make right off the bat there. So anyway, the genitals go into the ocean and foam forms all around them, which we might look at in a million and one different ways. And eventually up out of that foam arises Aphrodite. And her name, literally, the etymology of her name means risen from sea foam. That's exactly what her name means. Up comes Aphrodite, beautiful, gorgeous, lovable, desirable, and riding a clamshell, she arrives on the shores of Greece. So this whole thing about, we can look at the clamshell as sort of metaphoric way also, because we know the Greeks, these myths are ancient Greeks, and yet the goddess of love was seen as Astarte in Phoenicia, which is modern day Lebanon, and she was seen as Inanna in Sumeria, which is modern day Iraq. So we can look at the goddess of love. Her origins were probably in the Middle East. And so then she arrives on the shore of Greece, like across the Mediterranean going into Southern Europe. And so we can look at that clamshell and her arrival there out of the waters as a way that the goddess of love emigrated from country to country. So that's another way to look at how the goddess of love sort of gets around, So Aphrodite arrives on the shore. She is a goddess. And the first gift that she brings with her is beauty, because she is beautiful. So I just want to talk about the gifts of the goddess. I'm going to talk about the gifts of the goddess today a lot. But the one thing I want to say to sort of preface that is, like last month I was talking about, we talked about the goddess Bridget, and we talked about her at our in-bulk ritual also, and the gifts that she brings of smithcraft and healing and poetry and the waters from her well and the fires that we use to forge our lives. So as we learn about these gods and goddesses, we want to know what are the gifts that they bring to us, and how do we use them for our own spiritual growth and to enhance our own personal lives. So Aphrodite comes on the scene and she brings beauty, which we can sometimes say is something frivolous or something that we shouldn't strive for, or that it's very shallow. Now, when we say that that's all that matters is beauty, or if we look at beauty through a very limited lens, we can say that's kind of shallow. But beauty itself as a gift is not shallow or frivolous. It is crucial and it is important. So she is beautiful. So she arrives on the scene like, she takes everyone's breath away. Everyone falls madly in love with her. They lose her minds over Aphrodite and they want to possess her because she's so beautiful that they want her. So again, I just want to say this about possession of things that are beautiful. Beauty inspires desire in us. I want to talk more about that too. We see something beautiful, we want it. Ooh, another crystal, it's beautiful, I must have it, right? Or we look at someone or something and we see that it's beautiful and we want to have it. There's nothing wrong with that longing or that desire, as long as we have permission to take it. So in so many of the stories about Aphrodite, like people just drop their morals and ethics in their desire to have her. And we can look at what happens in the world too about, we'll see someone who's beautiful, or we'll see someone or something that's desirable, and somehow we just drop all of our understandings about what's civil, and we just want to take it, whether it wants to be taken or not. And so there's a responsibility that we have to our desire and how we let desire carry us forward in the world. So everybody falls in love with Aphrodite. Everybody wants Aphrodite. She inspires love because we love what is beautiful. It's in our nature to just love what is beautiful. The thing to keep in mind, of course, is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And what that means is everybody finds different things beautiful. Something that I would find beautiful, or to my taste, you might not find beautiful. But one way or another, we know that her presence reminds us that beauty is in the world. And that's a good thing to be reminded of, especially in the times that we're living in, when so much of what we see in the world is not beautiful. We find now that we're seeing mostly the worst of humanity being played out in all the arenas in which we know. But she brings beauty onto the scene, and we are reminded that beauty is soothing and it's inspiring and that it is pleasant. So she inspires love because we love what's beautiful. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if we stick to what I believe are very narrow cultural views of what beauty is, we're going to miss out on a lot of things that are truly beautiful. Like, for example, please observe Exhibit A. This is called the goddess of Willendorf, or the Venus of Willendorf. At some point, this was what we considered the pinnacle of beauty. Huge, pendulous breasts, big belly, like all the things that we are trying desperately not to have in our era, right? So we have a very narrow view of what beauty should be. Now our magazines and Hollywood and whatever it is out there in the world tells us that to be beautiful, we must be skinny and 9 times out of 10 blonde. And there's like this certain idea of what beauty is, and it's very, very narrow. And we must remember to expand and understand that beauty is not only in the eye of the beholder, but it really does come from within. It's who you are. It's how you behave. It's not necessarily if you have a pleasing appearance. And I have seen, and I know people, and including looking in the mirror, at things that I don't really often think are all that beautiful according to cultural norms. But what happens in my relationship with them and how they are in the world is beautiful. So we have to really expand our understanding of what beauty is, that it's not only appearance. I mean, this is just basic stuff, I know, but I think it's important to really bring up because we forget. And this is why the commercialization of a holiday like today is so dangerous to our hearts and mind, because it perpetuates shallow aesthetics. Like only if we're pretty enough or handsome enough or beautiful enough or privileged enough or wealthy enough or whatever that is, will we have a partner and be happy. And it's not only narrow, but it's not true. Right? There can be absolutely beautiful, magnificent people according to the cultural norm, and they might not be happy and they might not be in relationships. So it's very dangerous to keep those blinders on and see that's a very narrow viewpoint. Aphrodite reminds us of the joy of love, how joyful it is to experience love. Loving is joyous, and it can be, and it should be joyous. In our current world, with alternative facts and conspiracy theories and up is down and left is right, Aphrodite reminds us that love is real.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in this beautiful body. Breathe into this body. Breathe this beautiful body. Only love is real. Only love is real. Only love is real. Only love is real. Breathe into this body. Breathe this love is real. Into this body. Only love is real. Only love is real. Only love is real. Let go of the anger. Let go of the fear. Let go of the judgments. 'Cause only love is real. 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 Let go of the future.
Thank you so much, Celia. That was so beautiful and so true. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, another sort of byproduct of the gift of Aphrodite's beauty is the gift of desire, because we desire what is beautiful. We love what's beautiful, and then we desire it. We want to have it. Desire is a motivating force, right? If we desire something, we are motivated to do something about it in order to get it or obtain it. There are other emotions that are motivating forces too, like anger. If we're angry about something, anger will like push us to take action, certainly. But isn't desire a much more pleasant way to go about going after what it is that we want? So it's a motivating force. This is an alive force that motivates us. Desire inspires pleasure, and pleasure is pleasurable. So, pleasure is our birthright. And this is a pagan worship service. Yay, pagans, and the whole principle of pleasure. Because pleasure can be for its own sake. Pleasure can be its own purpose. There can be no other reason, or there need not be any other reason to desire pleasure than pleasure itself. It's okay to desire pleasure. Now, this is counter to a lot of what we have been conditioned and a lot of what we have been taught, not only from our religious faiths that we might have been raised in, but also in the culture at large, which you would think that really wouldn't be the case, but it really kind of is. So, if we were raised in a lot of the mainstream religions, particularly some of the stricter, more fundamental ones, then, that pleasure was a sin, actually. And things that were pleasurable, like I said before, were frivolous. They were not important, that would make us bad, that would say we were immoral, we would become hedonistic. I mean, just horrible, horrible things to desire and want to have a pleasurable life. We would inherently be bad and wrong if we were seeking that out. And that, I believe, is one of the ways that those religions sought to have power over those who followed their ways, because wanting pleasure, having pleasure, and experience pleasure in our bodies is a natural thing. And so if you try to say that what is natural is unnatural and suppress it, then you're going to have people that are suffering, and then you're going to frighten them into remaining in that situation and being, so that you can remain in power. So it's a construct, and it's so misguided, I believe. I believe it is just so misguided. It's okay to desire pleasure simply because pleasure is pleasurable. Nothing wrong with that. Then out in our culture out there, we have all of these ideas that pleasure should only be a reward if we work hard enough, if we're deserving enough, if we've earned enough money, if we've followed the rules, if we listen to what other people tell us, if we're within a very tight sort of confine or construct. Only then is it okay to have pleasure, and not for too long, and just a little bit, and don't overindulge. I mean, there are so many reasons and constructs in our world that are telling us that we should not seek pleasure, or that if we do, there's something wrong with us. And then on top of everything else, it's, when we're living in the difficult times that we are right now, we can think that seeking pleasure means that we're not really paying attention to what matters out there, as opposed to, why wouldn't we want to counter what is going on out there and bring some balance back in with beauty and pleasure and desire? Like, that is a worthy thing to go for, rather than tossing it by the wayside because everything's so horrible anyway. Why should we bother? So there's so many things that go on in our psyche that are telling us that we shouldn't be going for this beauty and desire and love and pleasure. And I'm here to say that I think that is completely misguided. And I think we should turn around and try very hard to create beauty and love and desire and pleasure everywhere and in every way that we possibly can. And so one way to do this, of course, is to look to erotic energy. And I want to talk about erotic energy. And I want to start with Eros, who is the god of love, who is actually one of Aphrodite's children, was Eros, known as Cupid in Rome, and Aphrodite's son with Ares, the god of war. And Ares was the great warrior. And I think, Cupid's bow and arrow was like one of Ares' weapons. So we can kind of look at that a little symbolically also. But one way or another, if you were struck by Cupid's arrow, that's it. You were like in love, you were under the spell, you had no power, other than to feel that. But I would really like to expand what we understand eroticism to be and erotic energy to be. Because, there's one thing that I did want to say here also. When I looked up like Eros and what it said about him, it said that he is who loosens the limbs and weakens the mind. That's kind of a combination of what Eros brings to us. So weakens the mind, again, that's sort of like, I'm powerless to the feelings that I feel. No, we can have strong, intense feelings and not be powerless to them. That's the level of consciousness that we need to have. I've got a strong feeling here. What am I going to do with it in the right, correct way? Anyway, so I don't know if you know of a woman named Esther Perel, but if you don't, I think you should go and look her up. She is a therapist, a couples therapist, an author, and an amazing speaker on relationships. She's got a fabulous TED Talk, and there's a lot of videos and YouTubes where she is speaking about all of that, relations, being in relationship, healthy relationships, and eroticism specifically. And what she says is that we here in the West particularly have a very limited view on Eros, particularly because we see it only as something that is aligned with our sexuality. So last year, when I was talking about Aphrodite in Gaia's temple at the February service, I said, we're gifted with the ability to reach ecstatic states within our body. That is a gift that we have by being human. And I don't think that that is random. I think it was a good idea that we were created this way, that, sex would feel so good that we would continue to want to do it. And that's how we would continue to procreate. But we also know that we can have sex without procreating. So that can't be all that there is to it. There is something else about reaching those ecstatic states. And I believe that's where our spirituality and our bodies meet. That is a beautiful thing. I mean, that's the thing we're striving for in this life, right? To be having this spiritual experience in human form. Esther tells us so many beautiful things, and I want to lay them all out here for you because it's just magnificent. She says that Eros, erotic energy, is a life force energy. And what it does is it brings our lives meaning, purpose, creativity, playfulness, and connection. Meaning, purpose, creativity, playfulness, and connection. Who wouldn't want any of those things? All of us want all of those things. So if we think of eroticism as an energy, one of the energies that we have and we can use that isn't just limited to our sexuality, then we have access to something that can infuse our entire lives. Erotic energy brings us aliveness and vibrancy, and it does it by centralizing desire and pleasure and satisfaction. So again, we've been taught that centralizing these things, desire and pleasure and satisfaction, makes us selfish or frivolous or somehow immoral, or like there's something wrong with us if we want to centralize these things. But when we're truly utilizing erotic energy in our life, we centralize these things. Like, this is important enough to go for. And I believe that it is. The other thing she says about eroticism is that it's linked to possibility. And she talks about, we're always striving to be more like the animals in the animal kingdom because they are so present in the moment. They are right here in the moment. We're still not certain whether they can think ahead We know that they can become, we teach a dog tricks, for instance. So we know that they have habits and they can remember what to do, but we don't necessarily know if they remember what happened to them when they were a puppy, in a conscious way. But humans, we can look ahead. We can remember what took place in the past. So eroticism brings us into the future a little bit, or at least is linked to the possibility of living. Because if there is something that we find pleasurable, something that we desire, let's say for the sake of argument, it's going to be that chocolate that we're having for dessert tonight. Right now, we can be thinking about that chocolate and we're already having a pleasurable experience. It might not be as pleasurable as when we're actually eating and tasting the chocolate, but it creates a kind of anticipation of a possibility in the future. And now Eros is carrying us along. So it's not limited to the experience in the moment. Esther tells us that erotic energy has no other function other than a state of well-being, a state of transcendence, and a state of presence. Erotic energy is in our lives for us to be well, for us to be able to transcend situations and to feel that spiritual connection that helps us transcend the mundane. Erotic energy makes us incredibly present right here, right now. What a beautiful thing that is to access and to have in our lives. She also said that sex is not just something that we do. Sex is somewhere we go. Talk about an expansion of an understanding of something that we can experience. She says that sex is a lens through which other things can occur rather than an act that is finite. I would just love for everyone who is hearing those words to meditate on that, to contemplate on that, and continue to do so, to see if that can be something that is expanded in your life for your well-being, for your transcendence, and for your presence. So arousal is not limited to sex. And if we think that it is, when we hear the word arouse, we're only thinking about sex and sexuality, then that is so limited because it's not the only place that we get aroused or the only way that we can get aroused. Our curiosity is aroused, our imaginations are aroused, right? So it's the arrival of something. It's when we conjure something up. That's really what arousal is. Sex is one place, but it's not the only place. And if it is the only place in your awareness and in your mind, again, I think it would be great to expand that so that you can experience this joy and beauty throughout your life, not just in your sexuality, but also to consider, and this is very true for us about all of our experiences, probably the first time we experience something, the imprint it makes on us goes very, very deep. And then we operate our lives from that imprint as if that is true from here on out. Which means that, we'll just take this right to sexuality. If your first sexual experience was not pleasurable, or even if it was, you have formed an idea of what that is for you. And then you continue to live your life as if that is your truth. And without examining it, expanding it, being willing to grow, applying your curiosity, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to stretch where your edges are a little bit, it stays very, very limited. We could say that's immature, but immature kind of has a word of like, it's kind of judgment. Oh, that's so immature. But we can say, it's rather undeveloped. Like this isn't something that I have developed to go beyond whatever that initial informing was in my first experience. And, just to take it to a completely different sense, when I was a kid, spinach that we ate came out of a can. It was a slimy glop. And I was like, oh, I did not like it. I was in my 30s before I tried spinach again in a restaurant. And I was like, oh my God, what have I been missing all these years? Fresh spinach. It's delicious. So it's that sort of thing. Like we form an idea about something early on, and that's good information, but it's not the whole show. And here is a place and an example where we can expand what we understand arousal to be, desire to be, eroticism to be, beyond just what we know sexually. So there's that. The other thing is that erotic energy, like I said, it arouses our curiosity and our spontaneity and our imagination and our creativity. Those are beautiful things to keep our lives enjoyable and exciting and growing and continually growing. I mean, if we're here, we might as well grow. If we're here, we might as well get what we came here for. Erotic energy is an experience, and what it does is it shifts our perceptions. It brings us into an altered state. We can say that we are going to, for example, have to wash the dishes, and that's not much fun. Or we can say, we're going to put our hands in hot, warm, soapy water, and we're going to create beauty out of these dirty dishes into something clean and beautiful. I mean, that is just a completely an altered state about something that can be seen as a mundane or unpleasant task. So that erotic energy can infuse everything in our life, how we have a conversation with someone, anything that we choose to do, anything that we want to experiment with. It's at our disposal, and we ought to use it. And the good news about that, my friends, is that you don't need a partner. You do not need a partner to create and infuse your life with this erotic energy, with eroticism. Erotic energy is alive, and we are enlivened by it. Things that are new, things that are exciting, these are the things that make us feel alive. And it doesn't matter how many years we've been living on this planet, there is always something new, no matter how old we are. Eroticism can still infuse our lives and make it pleasant while we are here. There's a philosophical viewpoint that eroticism actually is the antidote to death. Death is going to come, as we know, it's going to come. And when it comes, that is soon enough time for it to come and for it to happen. But until that moment, let's be alive. Let's be alive while we're here. And why not infuse our lives with pleasure? Why not? Why not? Can't think of one good reason. So I would recommend that you cultivate eros in your life. Keep your life vibrant and use it to manifest the life that you desire. So I'm going to ask us to take a look now at what it is that we might desire and where we can infuse that erotic energy. So if you would, take a moment now, close your eyes and go within. Take a nice deep breath. And turn your focus and attention inward now, inside yourself, your beautiful self. And bring your attention up to your third eye in the center of your forehead. Imagine it like an actual eye. And go ahead and open it out and look out through it into your imagination and find yourself, like Aphrodite, standing on your clamshell, not far from the shore of your life. And you are safely standing there, riding very, very gentle waves, looking at your life that is depicted, spread out all along the shoreline up ahead. And this viewpoint gives you a great advantage because you can see where things are going well in your life, where you have ease and joy and confidence and delight and pleasure, the things you love and feel good about that bring you this pleasure and delight. So notice what those places are now from your vantage point on your half a clamshell there. Notice those places that are going so beautifully and are infused with that wonderful energy, and just take a moment to acknowledge them. Good, and take another deep breath. And now you notice that you can also see the place or places where you'd like to feel more ease and joy and confidence and delight in your life, but you're not there yet. You can spot exactly what needs this infusion of life force or eros to manifest beautifully. Now, there may be more than one place in your life where this is true, but for our purposes here today, choose just one of them. Choose one area of your life, one area that isn't exactly where you want it to be yet, for whatever reason. It could be a place that doesn't feel pleasurable, or one that you still would like to feel more pleasure at, but someplace that is not there yet. You're not there yet. It's not pleasant. Find that place. And it could be that that place perhaps feels deadened by hardship or burden, or merely by repetition, right? Which can bring about boredom. Find what that one place is now. Good. Now, considering what you have just been hearing about erotic energy as a life force, an energy that brings vibrancy and vitality and curiosity and playfulness and creativity, that's exactly the kind of energy you need to infuse this part of your life so that you can experience it with ease and joy, so that you can fall in love with it, find the beauty in it, feel the pleasure that it can bring. Even if this is a part of your life as a means to a future end, right? Like, why not find the way to enjoy that process? So ask yourself now how you can be curious about it. Open your mind to be curious about this part of your life rather than staying concretized in what you know about. How can you be curious about it? And ask yourself how you can be more creative about it, something new that you can add to the mix, introduce something new for creativity. How can you do that in this part of your life? Ask yourself how you can be more playful about it. Maybe take the stakes down a little bit. See what happens if it really doesn't matter if it happens well or not. What would happen if you just played? Ask yourself how you can apply the erotic energy that Aphrodite evokes, this vibrant life force, to shift your experience of this part of your life with more pleasure. See if you can shift your perception about this part of your life to infuse it with more pleasure, more purpose, more meaning, even if it's challenging. How can you infuse this challenge with love and beauty? And then go ahead and take another deep, deep breath. And gently open your eyes and come back here with me in this temple. Now, just having these thoughts, asking yourself, how can I be more playful and creative and joyful? It doesn't mean we're going to come up with the answer right away, but it does sort of open up this possibility that our experience of something that maybe isn't everything we want it to be yet can get there. And it can get there by infusing it with eros, by infusing that erotic energy so that we can have a different experience on the way to pleasure. Aphrodite's gifts of beauty are an aphrodisiac. So I encourage you, my friends, to cultivate beauty. Cultivate beauty everywhere you can, all environments, in any and every way you can, the best you can, in your home, in your office, in your yard, in your heart, in your body, in your mind, in the world. What is the most beautiful, hospitable, and welcoming environment you can create? That should be the pervading question, no matter what it is you do. How can I infuse this with beauty. Simple things that you can do right off the bat: clean up a little, tidy up a little bit, make something easier on the eye. Not chores, don't think of them as chores, but you might think of them as devotional acts to Aphrodite. I'm going to vacuum, and it's for Aphrodite. Totally different than, gotta vacuum again. Dust bunnies are getting the better of me. I like to light candles. I like to keep a stick of incense burning. It keeps me in a different altered state. It creates something beautiful for my senses in an ongoing way. If you take an extra moment to make whatever it is that you are doing more beautiful and to engage all of your senses, how can I make it look more beautiful if I tidy up or clean it up? How can I make things sound more beautiful? Do I need to turn up the music or turn off the ringer and the beep, 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 sound, right? Or smell. How does it smell in here? Do I need to light a stick of incense? Do I need to empty the garbage? Do I need to get some flowers in here? Sense of smell. How do things feel? Am I cold? Am I too hot? Something that I'm wearing too tight? How does it feel to the touch on your physical body? Taste. Is it something that tastes really good? Or if I add salt, will it taste better? Does it need more sugar? Does it need more hot sauce? Engage in all of your senses. Become more sensual to give yourself pleasure. When we do this, when we satisfy all of our senses, it's beautiful. And then wherever we are, it's a sanctuary that is blessed by the divine.
Let's bless the space. Please bless this space, this sanctuary, all around, below, above. Please bring us peace and protection. May all who enter be nourished with love. Blessed be our home. Blessed be, allow it in. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be our home. So it is. Please bless this space, this sanctuary, all around, below, above. Please bring us peace and protection. May all who enter be nourished with love. Blessed know, so it is.
Thank you, Celia. So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, my friend. Celia has so many beautiful CDs and albums to purchase, so please do support her gorgeous music in the world. And I hope you go to that concert tonight also. So my friends, to recap, Aphrodite brings beauty, which inspires love, and love brings desire. We are responsible for our desires and need to tend them with our morals and ethics and true, pure eros at the forefront of our minds. Erotic energy is one of the best things that we are gifted with in our human bodies. And we need to start to think of it as an energy that we can use for more than just sexual expression. Apply that magic everywhere. Beauty and pleasure feel good. And with so much pain in the world, why not counter it with as much pleasure as we can conjure? Why not? So, my friends, may Aphrodite bless you all with all things pleasurable. May her love motivate you to create beauty everywhere, to infuse your life with the erotic, bringing vibrancy and joy. And may all of that bring peace. Happy Valentine's Day, Earth lovers, and blessed be. So this is where we open up our floor for our community prayers. And if you would like to offer a prayer at this time, then you can, there's a little feature there where you can raise your hand, or if you turn your camera on, you can wave like this till Mari sees you and she will bring you up and you can offer your prayer. And I'll ask you to finish it with blessed be so that we know you're finished and we'll move on to the next person. I'd like to begin the prayers today because I've had a request from our own Julianne Collinger, who many of you know is a member of our congregation for a very long time. She's a beautiful ritualist and has been in ritual leadership for Gaia's Temple also for a long time, particularly at our Samhain rituals. And her nephew recently passed away. And so she has asked for our prayers here in Gaia's Temple for the whole family, of course, that her nephew, Logan, rests in peace, ease and comfort to her sister, Sarah, and to her niece, Kaylin, and also to the rest of the family, of course, and to Julianne. All of their hearts are breaking. And so we offer up a prayer of peace and ease and comfort. Blessed be. Anyone else want to offer a prayer?
And I put it in the chat, but I just want to remind us that we're streaming live on YouTube. So if you want your prayers to be kept private and within this community, then you can put them into the chat and also probably share during fellowship afterward, I would guess, Reverend
Yes.
Judith. Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a prayer they'd like to offer up?
I have a
Oh, yeah.
prayer.
Go ahead.
I'm asking our beautiful community to send prayers and good thoughts to my dad, whose health is failing right now. And I'm being called away to travel to Toronto. So I'll be leaving this week. And so I'm asking for prayers of safety and ease in the journey for myself so that I stay as safe as possible and that I stay healthy on my journey. And that I have a good visit with my parents and especially my dad, and that this trip will be with ease and comfort and good connection for the three of us to enjoy this time together. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Anyone else have a prayer they'd like to offer?
I don't see any hands up.
All right, I guess we are good to go. May all of our prayers, spoken and unspoken, be heard and answered. Blessed be. All right, we're going to switch over to our treasurer, Noemi Chaparro. Take it away, Noemi.
Yippee! Hello. Well, as Judith said, my name is Noemi. I'm the treasurer for Gaia's Temple. Those of you who have been with us for as members for a while know who I am. And we wanted, on behalf of Judith and the board, thank you for continuing to support us in this Gaia's Temple journey. And you also know, if you've been with us for a little while, that right about now, I usually am called to present a sit on the edge of your seat sort of report on the financial wellness of Gaia's Temple. And unfortunately, we're not able to do that. So we wanted to remind you that the annual pledge for Gaia's Temple is usually held between January through March, and it's going on right now. And if you are able, willing, and wanting to support us and on this vision, please go to our website, www.gaiastemple.org, and then you can click on the Support Us button to find the pledge form and fill it out. We ask our members to do this. It kind of gives us an idea of what we can count on for, planning our year ahead. And again, we hope to continue to bring services and programs and events to you live through Zoom. So with that, we want to thank you again for being with us, and be safe.
Thank you, Noemi. So we're in a moment, we're all going to sing the song that we usually sing as we pass the basket. So this is the time that we do ask for your donations, which you can go to the Gaia's Temple website and click on the donate button and then make your donations that way. And also to let you know that as an organization, Gaia's Temple tithes 10% of all the monies that we received today on the day of the service. So we total up what we received on today. And then we tithe 10% of that to other organizations that are in alignment with our mission and vision and values. And today we are tithing to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is dedicated to fighting hate and bigotry and to seeking justice for the most vulnerable members of our society using litigation, education, and other forms of advocacy. So know that as you donate, 10% of what you donate today will go to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Thank you in advance for your generosity. And Maury's going to put up the slide with the words, and I'll sing, and you can sing along with me. Let's sing it 3 times through. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. One more. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank all the people who contributed to creating this event for you today, starting with Maury Budlong. Maury, thank you so much. Our tech host, thank you for hosting this meeting and all your calm, beautiful support in every way. So grateful to you. To Pamela Gerke, who sang in leading us in singing on the elements today, and she's going to help lead us in singing them out today. Thank you so much, Pam. And to Karina Frenzel, who offered the invocation to the goddess Aphrodite today. Thank you, Karina. And to Celia, thank you for your beautiful, beautiful music and all that you do to keep the goddess alive and happening on earth. Thank you so much, my friend. It was a pleasure to have you here today. So I'd like to end this service before we release the directions with the following that I found a while ago, and I've been kind of saving it. And I thought, you know what? I think today's the day. It was written by Charlie Chaplin, and it goes like this. As I began to love myself, I found that anguish and emotional suffering are only warning signs that I was living against my own truth. Today, I know this as authenticity. As I began to love myself, I understood how much it can offend somebody if I tried to force my desires on this person, even though I knew the time was not right or the person was not ready for it. And even though this person was me. Today, I call this respect. As I began to love myself, I stopped craving for a different life, and I could see that everything that surrounded me was inviting me to grow. Today, I call this maturity. As I began to love myself, I understood that in any circumstance, I am in the right place at the right time, and everything happens at exactly the right moment. So I should be calm. Today, I call this self-confidence. As I began to love myself, I quit stealing my own time and I stopped designing huge projects for the future. Today, I only do what brings me joy and happiness, things I love to do and that bring my heart cheer. And I do them in my own way and in my own rhythm. Today, I call this simplicity. As I began to love myself, I freed myself of anything that's no good for my health, food, people, things, situations, and everything that drew me down and away from myself. At first, I called this attitude a healthy egoism. Today, I know it is love of oneself. As I began to love myself, I quit trying to always be right. And ever since, I was wrong less of the time. Today, I discovered this is modesty. As I began to love myself, I refused to go on living in the past and worrying about the future. Now I only live for the moment where everything is happening. Today, I live each day, day by day, and I call it fulfillment. As I began to love myself, I recognized that my mind can disturb me and it can make me sick. But as I connected to my heart, my mind became a valuable ally. Today, I call this connection wisdom of the heart. We no longer need to fear arguments, confrontations, or any kind of problems with ourselves or others. Even stars collide, and out of their crashing, new worlds are born. Today, I know this is life. Blessed be. All right, Pam, help us sing out the directions, would you?
To the spirits of the north. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. To the spirits of the west. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. To the spirits of the south. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. To the spirits of the east. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. And to the spirit of the center. Go if you must, stay if you will, within or without we remain with you still. So mote it be.
Thank you so much, Pam. Thank you. Thank you. So before we sing our final song, I'll let you know that today, I hope you will stay and hang out for a little while longer. We'll have some fellowship after the service, and we're going to try something new. We're going to try some breakout rooms. And here's Mari Budlong to tell you all about it.
All right, yeah, so we'll go into breakout room. You'll be invited to join breakout rooms that have probably 4 to 6 people in them, depending on how many people join the invitation. So you'll get a little pop-up on your window that has the word join, probably a blue button that you can join to get in for just kind of more intimate conversation. Reverend Judith will remain here in the main session, and so there is an option to join the room later if you want, stay in the main session, come back to the main session. Down at the bottom right of the screen where you normally have leave for your to leave the Zoom meeting, you'll instead have a blue button that says leave breakout room, and then that will bring you back here. So if you have questions, of course, please feel free to reach out and ask, and it'll just be randomly assigned to small groups. So.
Okay, great, Mari. Thanks. So put up that last slide and let's sing our final song, and then hopefully I'll see you at fellowship. The circle is open and unbroken. May the love of the goddess go in our hearts. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy